Good day, everyone. We are still on the topic numerical processes under indices and what logarithm. So we are to solve some equations. This equation we are to solve certainly will involve indica equation also. So but let's start with the simple equations. We have x raised to power half equals to 2, and we are to look for the value of what? X. To look for the value of x, let's use the reciprocal of the power, which is half, to multiply both sides of the equation. So I have x raised to power half. If I multiply it by the reciprocal of it, which is 2 over 1, which is same as 2, this will cancel this. I'll have x raised to power 1 equals to what? 2 raised to power 2, which gives x to be equals to what? 4. So these are what? Answer. If I put 4 as the value of x here, this will give me 4 raised to power half. And half, remember, is what? Square root of 4, which equals to what? Plus minus what? 2, which is equals to this 2 I have here. So that's the solution for the first question. So we have x raised to power 1 over 3 equals to what? 3. All we need to do is to multiply by the reciprocal of what? The power of what? X. So that it will give me what? 1. So we have x raised to power 1 over 3. I'll multiply by what? 3. So also multiply here by what? 3. So this can cancel this, or have x to be equals to 3 times 3 times 3, and x will be equals to what? 27. We have 2x raised to power 3 equals 54. And we are asked to solve. To solve simply means we should know the value of what? X. So first we'll divide through by what? 2. To make the coefficient of x raised to power 3 what? 1. So we have 54 over 2. And we have x raised to power 3 to be equals to 2 into 5 will give me what? 2 remainder 1. Into 14 will give me what? 7. And now I have x raised to power 3 equals to what? 27. To remove this 3, I have to multiply by the reciprocal of 3, which gives me x raised to power 3 in brackets 1 over 3, 27 raised to power 1 over 3. Whatever I do here, I must do here, remember. So this will cancel this, and I'll have s to be equals to the third root of what? 27, which will give me x raised to power what? 3, third root, and 3 raised to power 3. And this will cancel this, and s will be equals to what? 3 as my answer. First, I can decide to multiply by the reciprocal of this, which will give me x raised to power minus 1 over 2, and that will give me what? 2 minus what? 2 over 1. So I have 5 here raised to power minus 2 over 1. So this will cancel this, and minus minus is plus, so I'll have x to be equals to 5 raised to power what? Minus 2. And x will be equals to remove my negative sign, I have 1 raised to power 5 raised to power 2, and s will be equals to 1 all over what? 25. We have n raised to power minus 2 over 3 equal to 9, and we have to solve. To solve means to find the positive value of what? N. So we simply take the reciprocal of the power of n, minus 2 over 3. So the reciprocal of minus 2 over 3 will give me minus 3 over what? 2. So I'll use the minus 3 over 2 to also multiply the power of 9, which is minus 3 over what? 2. Now, this will cancel this, minus minus plus. So I have n to be equals to the square root of what? 9. Or, no, we change this. This will give me 1 all over 9 raised to power what? 3 over what? 2. And this will give me n to be equals to 1 all over, the button is root, so we have the square root of what? 9, all raised to power what? 3. So I have 1 all over square root of 9 is plus minus what? 3. So I still have raised to power what? 3, which will give me 1 all over plus minus 3 raised to power 3 is 3 times 3 times 3, which is what? 27. And this is my what? Answer. We have 2r raised to power minus 3 equals to minus 16. How are we to solve for the value of x? So simply first, we divide through by what? 2 to make r raised to power minus 3 1 as its what? Coefficient. So So 2 will cancel 2. We have r raised to the power minus 3 to be equals to minus what? 8. Now, I'll have to remove my negative sign. Doing that, I'll have 1 all over r raised to the power 3 will be equals to minus 8. If I cross multiply, I'll have minus 8 r raised to the power 3 to be equals to 1. If I divide through by minus 8, I will have r raised to the power 3 equals to minus 1 over 8. And I'll take the third root from both sides. So I'll have r to be equals to third root of 1 is 1. You have your negative sign. And third root of 8 is what? 2. Now you check. Minus minus is plus. Plus minus is minus. So the third root of minus 1 over 8 will give you minus 1 over what? 2. We have 5x equals to 40x raised to the power minus half. How can we find the value of x? First, let's divide through by 5. We'll have 5x over 5 equals to 40x raised to the power minus 1 over 2 all over 5. And we'll have x to be equals to this divided by this is 8. So I have 8x raised to the power minus 1 over what? 2. Now I'm looking for x. Let me divide through by minus half. We'll have x all over x raised to the power half minus half rather equals to 8 x raised to the power minus what? Half all over x raised to the power minus what? Half. So that all the x will be on one side. So this will cancel this. I therefore have x all over x raised to the power minus half equals to what? 8. Now I'll move since they are of the same base, I'll pick one x. This is an invisible one. There's a negative sign because of division, and I'll bring my negative what? Half also equals to what? 8. And I'll have s to be equals to 1. Minus minus is plus 1 over 2 equals to 8. And half plus 1 will give me 1 and a half, which is what? 3 over 2 equals to what? 8. To make my s stand alone, I'll have x raised to the power 3 over 2. 3 over 2 multiplying what? 2 over 3. So I'll do the same at the other side of the equation, 2 over 3. So 3 will cancel 3, 2 will cancel 2, x will be equals to what? The third root of what? The third root of 8 or what? Square. Third root of 8 is what? 2. So 2 square will give me what? 4. Therefore, the value of s that satisfies this expression is what? 4. We have 9 raised to the power s equal to 27. How do we express this so that we have the value of x? 27 cannot be expressed in terms of power of what? 9. So we reduce it down to what? 3. So we can have 3 raised to the power 2 to be equals to 9. You have your bracket x. And this can be written as 3 raised to the power what? 3. This becomes 3 raised to the power 2x equals to 3 raised to the power 3. If we equate the powers, since the base can what? Cancel out. So we have 2s equals to 3. And s will be equals to 3 over 2, which is the same as 1 over 1 over 2. As our final what? Answer. We have 4 raised to the power c minus 1 equals to 64. 4 can be left this way, since 64 can be expressed in terms of 4, which gives you 4 raised to the power 3. If I can equate the power since the base are what? The same. So I have c minus 1 equal to 3. And I have c equal to 3 plus what? 1. And c will be equals to what? 4. We can as well decide to express in power of 2 to give me what? 4 raised to the power c minus 1 equals to 64. Giving 2 raised to the power 2 bracket c minus 1 equals to what? 2 raised to the power 6. Because 2 raised to the power 5 is 32 times 2 will give you what? 64. So we have 2 raised to the power 6 to be equivalent to what? 64. So if I equate the base, I can equate the power since the base are same. So I have 2 bracket c minus 1 equals to what? 6. 2 times c will give me what? 2c. 2 times 1 will give me what? Negative what? Negative 2 equals to what? 6. And I have 2c to be equals to 6 plus what? 2. And I have 2c to be equals to 8. I have c to be equals to 8 over what? 2 will equals to what? 4. Just like we did here. we have root s plus 5 equal to 3. And we have to solve the equation. To solve the equation means we look for the value of what? X. First, we have to square both sides. So to remove the square root here. So this will cancel this. I'll have s plus 5 equals to what? 9. And I'll have x will be equals to 9 minus 5 by collecting like terms. And x will be equals to what? 4. That's my answer. So we have to solve this equation. We have root s plus 2 plus root s minus 1 equal to 5. And if we have to like close this bracket and square both sides, we have a complex equation at the left. So it's better we separate the roots. So I can leave my root x plus 2 here, and I have equal to 5. This cross become minus what? Root s minus what? 1. Now I can square both sides. Or have x plus 2 in bracket square to be equal to 5 minus root s minus 1 in bracket square. This square will cancel the square root, and I'll have s plus 2 to be equals to, expanding this will give me 5 square minus 2 times 5 times minus root x minus 1. I'll have plus in brackets minus root x minus 1 or what? Square. Check for this expansion. This is same as saying 5 minus root x minus 1 in bracket 5 minus root s minus 1. 5 times 5 is what? 25. 5 times minus root s minus 1 will give me minus 5 root s minus 1. Minus plus is minus. 5 times root s minus 1 will give 5 root s minus 1. And minus minus is plus. Root s minus 1 times root s minus 1 in the law of sort will give me s minus what? 1. So I'll have 25 minus 5 root s minus 1 minus 5 root s minus 1 will give me minus 10 root s minus 1 plus x minus 1. So 25 minus 1 will give me what? 24. And I have minus 10 root x minus 1 plus what? X. So this is what I'm expected to get when I use this same method I'm using here. So I have x plus 2. 5 squared is what? 25. Minus 2 times 5 will give me minus 10. And minus minus is plus. So I have plus 2 times 5 will give me what? 10 root x minus 1. And I have my plus. Minus root s minus 1 square. Minus minus is plus. And square root and square will cancel out to give me what? S minus 1. And again, 25 minus 1 will give me what? 24. And I'll still have plus my 10 root x minus 1 plus what? X. So you can learn this if it's new to you. The two will give the same what? Expression. Here is supposed to be positive rather. And if here is positive, negative will not give me what? Negative. Any value you are taking must be positive. If you are saying plus 2 times 5 times this value, it should be positive. Take notes, please. And here is also positive. And you pick your term here to put here. So we have this. And this s plus 2. Let me put my s plus 2. This s plus 2. So you can see that this x here can cancel this x here, because if plus x goes to the other side, will give you negative s. If this goes to the other side, will still give you negative s, which is what? 0. So I have 2 to be equals to what? 24 minus 10 root x minus 1. I can therefore bring this to the other side to make what I'm looking for positive. To have 10 root x minus 1 to be equals to 24 minus what? 2. To give me 10 root x minus 1 to be equals to what? 22. Remember, I'm looking for what? X, so I'll divide through by 10. And I'll have s minus 1 root to be equals to what? 2 here is what? 11, 2 here is what? 5. And I'll take the square root of both sides to give me what? X minus 1 to be square root cancel square root, I'll have s minus 1. And when I take square root, remember here will be plus minus. Take note. Okay, I'm squaring, so I don't need to put the plus minus. So when I square, I have what? Here to be 11 all over 5, all was square. And 11 square is 121, 5 square is what? 25. So I have s to be equals to 121 over 25. When negative cross become positive what? 1 over 1. Since here is fraction, that's why I use over 1. My x here will give me 25. 25 into 25, 1. 1 times 121 is 121. Plus 1 into 25, 25. 25 times 1 will give me what? 25. So I have x to be equals to 5 plus 1, 6. 2 plus 2, 4. 1 plus nothing, 1. All over what? 25. So this is my answer for the value of x that satisfies this what? Expression. We have another question on the board. We have root s plus 7 minus root s minus 2 equal to what? 1. How are we to find the value of x? Again, the best is to remove one of the roots. Take one of the root to the other side. I'll choose minus root s plus 2 so that when it comes here, it becomes what? Positive. So I have root s plus 7 to be equals to 1. This cross becomes plus what? Root x minus what? 2. Now I can square both sides so that this will give me what? S plus 7. So if I square both sides, I have s plus 7 square. Square will cancel square, so I have s plus what? 7 equals to 1 plus root s minus 2 all what? Square. If I have this, I can simply say 1, this value, square, and I'll have plus 2. This 2 is a constant. Use it to multiply this term, which is 1, and also use it to multiply this term, which is what? Root x minus 2. And this, you must have plus in bracket, the coefficient of this, which is plus root s plus 2, all what? Square. Now this remains 2. 1 square is 1, plus 2 times 1, 2. 2 times root s minus 2 will give you what? 2 root s minus what? 2. Plus square will cancel square root, or have what? Plus what? X plus what? 2. S minus 2 rather. And I have s plus 7 to be equals to 1 minus 2 will give me minus 1. Or I have plus 2 root s minus 2 plus what? X. Where this s can cancel this s, I will therefore have 7 to be equals to minus 1 plus 2 root x minus 2. Remember, this plus 7 is same thing as 7. So collecting like 10, I'll have 7, push this to the other side, I'll have plus 1 equals to what? 2 root x minus what? 2. Now, 7 plus 1 is what? 8. I'll have equal to what? 2 root x minus what? 2. Remember, this expression is here is already positive. I'm looking for x, that's why it remains here. If here was negative, I would have moved it to the other side to make it positive. Now, divide through by what? 2. And I'll have 4 equals to square root of x minus what? 2. So if I square both sides, I'll have 4 square equals to s minus 2 square root square. Square will cancel square root, and I have what? 16 equals to s minus 2. If I collect like term, I'll have 16, since it's already positive, plus 2 equals to x. Therefore, s will be equals to what? 18. So let's check if x being 18 is correct. We have root s plus 7 minus root s minus 1. So let's solve this if it's going to equal to the 1 we have here. S is what? 18. So I have root 18 plus 7 minus root 18 minus what? Minus what? 2. So I have 18 plus 7 is what? 25. Yeah. Minus what? This will give me what? 16. 25, square root of 25 is what? 5. Minus square root of 16 is what? 4. And 5 minus 4 is 1. So since it equals the right hand side, this equation is absolutely what? The value of s as 18 is absolutely what? Correct. So again, we have s raised to power 4 minus 5s squared plus 4 equal to 0. Let's find the value of what? S that satisfies the equation. This s raised to power 4 can be written as s squared bracket square of 2 times 2 will give me what? 4, which is one of the laws of what? Indices. So we have 5s raised to power 2 plus 4 equal to 0. Now we can say let's x squared equal y. So wherever we see s squared, now we'll put what? Y. So we have y, which is this, minus what? 5. In place of s squared, put y plus what? 4 equal to 0. You can choose to remove this what? Brackets. Now we have to factorize or use any method of our choice to solve this. 4 times invisible 1 is 4. So my product of root is 4. And minus 4 minus 5 will give me what? Minus 4 minus 1 will give me minus 5. So I can write y squared minus 4y minus y plus what? 4 to be equal to what? 0. Now I can bracket minus plus is what? Minus. So I have y squared minus 4y in bracket minus in bracket. Since minus is here, all the signs here will change. Minus y become positive y and plus 4 become negative what? 4 equal to what? 0. What's common here is y. If I write y squared divided by y will give me y, and minus 4y divided by y will give me minus what? 4. What's common here is what? 1. So here remain y minus what? 4 equal to what? 0. So I have y minus 1 and y minus 4 to be equal to 0. This therefore gives me y minus 1 to be equal to 0, which gives me y to be equal to 1, or y minus 4 equal to 0, which gives me y to be equal to 4. But we are not asked to find the value of y. We are asked to find the value of what? X, because there is no y in this what? Expression. We only bring in y. So we say but s squared is equals to y. So therefore, wherever I see y, I'll put this value. So I have s squared to be equals to, that's to say, when y is equals to 1, when y is equals to 1, or have what? S squared to be equals to 1, and x will be equals to the square root of plus minus what? 1, which gives me s to be equals to plus minus 1, which equal x is equals to 1, comma, minus 1. And also, when y equals to 4, s squared will be equals to what? 4, and s squared will be equals to what? 2 what? Square, which gives you s squared x rather, square root, yes, square root of what? 4. And this we cancel this, and x will be equals to what? Plus minus of what? 2, which is same as saying 2 comma minus what? 2. So the value of s that satisfy this equation are 1 comma minus 1, 2 comma minus 2. So these 4 expressions satisfy this equation. Let's check when s is 1. If s is 1, I'll have what? 1 raised to power 4 as 1, minus 1 square as 1, minus 5 times 1 will give me minus 5, plus what? 4. 1 plus 4 is what? 5, and 5 minus 5 is 0. So 1 satisfy this. Let's check minus 2. And you can check that of minus 1 and 2. Let's check minus 2. So if I have minus 2 raised to power 4, minus 5 bracket, minus 2 raised to power 2 plus 4. This will give me what? When we have an even power, the negative sign becomes positive. So 2 raised to power 4 will give me what? 16. And I have minus 5 bracket, here will give me positive what? 2 plus what? 4. This becomes 16. Minus times plus is minus. 5 times 2 will give me 10. There's 0 coming from. Minus 2, yes, raised to power 4, minus 5 brackets, minus 2 square. So minus 2 square is supposed to be 4. So we have here to be what? 5 times 4, 20, plus what? 4. And 16 plus 4 will give me 20, and 20 minus 20 will give me what? 0. So you see, test for 1 and minus 2 is correct. If you still check that of minus 1 and 2, you will still get your value as what? To be what? Correct. So the values that satisfy this are 1, minus 2, 2, and what? Minus 2. So we have another equation on the board. 3s raised to power 4 minus 10s raised to power 2 plus 3 equal to 0. We have to solve. So we have this. Let me express s raised to power 4 in another form to give me s raised to power 2 in bracket 2, because 2 times 2 will give me 4 from my indices, minus 10x raised to power 2 plus 3 to be equals to what? 0. And let's s squared be equals to what? Y. So I can replace this and this. So I have 3y in bracket square minus 10s squared plus 3 to be equals to what? 0. I can choose to remove this square, this bracket rather. Now I'm to what? Here should be y. But I'm replacing s squared with what? Y. Now we are to like factorize this. Constant, which is 3 times the coefficient of y squared, which is 3, is 9. And 3 and 3 can never give me what? Minus 10. But 9 is same thing as 9 times 1. So I can use minus x minus 9s to get minus 10. Minus 9x minus x to get what? Minus 10y rather. So we have 3y squared minus y minus, if I use minus 9y here become plus what? 3 equal to 0. So you see that minus y minus 9y is equal to minus 10y. So we can bracket minus plus first is what? Minus. So we have 3y squared minus y in bracket negative. If I have a negative before a bracket sign, all the signs inside the bracket will change. So minus 9y become positive 9y and plus 3 become negative what? 3 equal to what? 0. What's common here? It's y. If I put my y here, I will have what here to be 3y. Minus here will give me what? 1. Minus, what's common here is 3. I will have what? 9y divided by 3 will give me 3y. And 3 divided by 3 is 1 equal to what? 0. Since this and this are same, I'll pick this, add up with this to have y minus 3 in brackets 3y minus 1 to be equal to what? 0. So you see, y minus 3 will be equal to 0. And y will be equal to positive what? 3. Or 3y will be equals to what? 0. 3y minus 1 rather. 3y minus 1 will be equal to 0. And 3y will be equals to positive 1. 0 plus 1 is 1. And y will be equals to 1 over what? 3. So we have y as 3 and y as 1 over 3. There's no y in the words equation. We only put y for ease. So therefore, we substitute our value for y into this words equation. Let's take this as equation 1. So we therefore have s squared equals to y. So we say when y is equals to 3, I will have s squared to be equals to what? 3. So I'll have take the square root to get the value of s. This becomes s squared equals to square root of, when I'm taking square root, I'll put plus minus, so I have 3. This will cancel this, and s will be equals to plus minus what? Root 3, which is same as s to be equals to root 3 or minus root what? 3. And for the other one, when y is equals to 1 over 3, or have s squared to be equals to what? 1 all over 3. So x will be equals to the square root of plus minus 1 all over what? 3. And s will be equals to what? Square root of 1 over 3, comma, minus square root of what? 1 over 3. This same as saying s is equals to what? Root 1 all over root 3, comma, minus root 1 all over what? Root 3. This will therefore give me s to be equals to ordinary 1 all over what? Root 3, comma, minus 1 all over root 3. And again, in sort, it's better the root be at the top. If I'm doing that, then I'll have x multiplying up and down by root 3, or have root 3 all over ordinary what? 3, comma, minus root 3 all over what? 3. So the value that satisfy the equation for x are x equal root 3, comma, minus root 3, comma, root 3 over 3, comma, and minus root 3 all over what? 3. These are the 4 values that satisfy this what? Equation. Another thing you must know as long as the highest power here is 4, we must have 4 expressions that must satisfy what? This equation. Thank you. We have 2s raised to power 6 minus 5s raised to power 3 minus 3 equal to 0. We have to solve the equation. How are we to solve the equation? Let's focus on this s raised to power 3. If this s raised to power 6 can be put in this form, so we can say let's s raised to power 3 equal to what? Y. Now this can be expressed as 2x raised to power 3 close bracket what? Square, because 2 times 3 will give me s raised to power 6 from indices minus 5x raised to power 3 minus 3 equal to 0. So I said let's s raised to power 3 equal to what? Y. So I have 2 in bracket. In place of s raised to power 3, I'll put my y. So I have y. This can be square minus, in place of s raised to power 3, I'll put my what? Y. So I have 5 what? Y minus 3 to be equals to what? 0. Now I'll factorize. Minus 3 times 2 will give me minus 6. And minus 3 minus 2 will give me minus 5. So I'll use 2y squared minus 2y minus 3y minus what? 3 to be equal to what? 0. Minus 2y minus 3y will give me what? Minus 5y. But if you see, minus minus will give me plus, but this is minus, so I can't use that. So let's check. 2 times 3 is 6. So if I have 6 here, 2 into 6 will give me what? 3. And 3 into 3 will give me what? 1. So I can simply use 6 and 1, since 2 and 5 didn't what? Work out. So I have 6 and 1, which is minus y, or rather minus 6y plus y minus what? 3 equals 0. Check. Minus 6y plus y will give me minus what? 5y. And plus minus is what? Minus. Remember, it's not a mux you factorize. You can equally use completing the square or quadratic formula. Now our bracket. This is 2y squared minus what? 6y in bracket. I'll bring my plus. Since plus is in front of the bracket, all the signs remain the same. Plus remain plus, and minus 3 remain minus 3, equal to what? 0. What's common here is 2y. If I have 2y here, 2y squared divided by 2y will give me y. And 6y divided by 2y will give me what? 3. Plus, what's common here is 1, bracket y minus what? 3, equal to what? 0. This and this again are same. I'll pick this and this, and I'll have 2y plus 1 and y minus 3 to be equal to what? 0. So I'll equate. I'll have 2y plus 1 equal to 0, or y minus 3 equal to 0. This will simply give me y is equal to 0 plus what? 3, and y will be equals to what? 3. And this will give me 2y equals 0 minus 1, and 2y will be equals to minus 1. Dividing through by what? 2. Y will be equals to minus 1 over what? 2. Then we are not have to look for y. We have to look for what? X. But we said s raised to power 3 is equals to what? Y. So I'll say, when y is equals to minus 1 over 2, s raised to power 3 equal y will give me s raised to power 3 equal minus 1 over 2. I'll take the cube root from both sides. I'll take the cube root of both sides, and I have cube root of s raised to power 3 will be equals to what? The cube root of minus 1 over what? 2. This will give me x to be equals to negative cube root of minus cube root of 1 all over cube root of what? 2. So x will be equals to negative cube root of 1 is what? 1 all over, we have the cube root of what? 2. So this is my answer for my first x. And the second one also, when y equals 3, we have x cubed to be equals to what? 3. And this can be written as x cube root. Taking the cube root from both sides, we have cube root of what? 3 as well. And cube, we cancel cube root, and I have s to be equals to what? The cube root of what? 3. Therefore, the values that satisfy this equation are x equal minus 1 all over the cube root of 2, comma, and the cube root of what? 3. So these are the two values that satisfy this what? Equation. Thank you. In our next class, I'll be treating the logarithm of this what part. And after everything, I'll resolve all questions relating to why I can lay my hands on relating to indices and logarithm. And trust me, I'm going to give you a special treat on a particular question relating to logarithm. Thank you, until we see you in our next class. God bless you.